Here are some tough, cold, hard facts. Big guns. During the last half of this year, we must produce 45% more than we did the first half. Heavy artillery shells. We must produce 113% more the last 6 months of 1944. Heavy trucks. We must produce 65% more. Heavy truck tires. We must turn out 100% more. Tractors. We must have 41% more during the last 6 months of the year. Cranes and derricks. We must produce 108% more. Portable flamethrowers. We must turn out 600% more. Cotton duck for tents and other quartermaster equipage. We must produce 151% more. These are not random figures set by armchair strategists. These are the requirements demanded by the men who have led us this far. And here are the exact words of a few of them. A cable to the War Department from General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander-in-Chief, Allied Expeditionary Force.
I must have 350,000 more artillery shells immediately.
A cable to the War Department from Lieutenant General Carl A. Spaatz, Commanding General, United States Strategic Air Force, England.
I don't have enough of the right type and right sizes of bombs. It is unthinkable that our air offensive should be hampered at this time.
A cable to the War Department from Lieutenant General Mark W. Clark, Commanding General, 5th Army, Italy.
We must scrap 3,500 trucks immediately. We don't have enough spare parts to keep them rolling.
A cable to the War Department from General Douglas MacArthur, Commander-in-Chief of the Southwest Pacific.
I need thousands of tents. I must have more trucks, more big guns, more artillery ammunition. The speed of the offensive is stepping up our requirements beyond all estimates.
These are the men who have seen the war eat up acres and oceans of equipment. These are men who know our enemies and how and why they fight. We face a German army, purged of those who might revolt. We face a German army which sings the praises of fanaticism, which defends the holy soil of the superior race. In the front lines and behind the lines, we face the Nazi Party, the Gestapo, and the SS. For these scoundrels, each new day they prolong the war means another day on which they will not be called to justice. To defeat the German army and the Nazis, we will have to destroy them. But that defeat will not be the signal for a breathing spell. The defeat of Germany will be the signal for redoubling our drive in the Pacific. The Japanese soldiers, too, must be sought out and killed one by one. We know that no matter how hopeless their cause, they will fight on to the last. The war is speeding up. But for those who think it's over, let them ponder this. Robot bombs damaged or destroyed 800,000 English buildings in 6 weeks. Over 1 million people have been evacuated from the city of London. And let them ponder this. From July 6th to July 13th, there were over 11,000 reported casualties in the American Army, more than twice the weekly average for the whole war to date. There will be horror aplenty left before the war we are winning is over. Enough for us to ponder many times. The war is over only for the men who were mingled with the mud in a forgotten island called Rendova. The war has ended only for the men whose blood and bones lie forever united with the soil of France. The war is over only for American youth that grew up in Chicago and died in Casino. The war is over only for American dreams that were born in Texas and shattered in Saipan. The war is over, but only for the dead. They fought for many things, and one of them was so that their comrades might live. And the men who live fight for many things, and one of them is the right to go on living, to have again what we in America have every day, a good solid look at the golden cities and green grass of our native land. For the men who live and fight on, the war is not over. For them, the war has just begun. It begins every time they hear the distant pound of a German 88 or the nearby crack of a Jap sniper's bullet. For them, the war begins every day. Here are the beaches and battlefields over which these men have fought. Here is the wreckage which this speeding war has passed. Every mile of it, and every mile of it to come, reflects the strategy of our field commanders. They are gambling equipment for a speedy victory, spending and spending again steel and iron and rubber and wood and explosives, materiel of every description. Only tons upon tons of replacements for this fallen armor can maintain the pace we have set, can shorten the days of the war for American doughboys. As our troops fought their way into Normandy, one battalion was cut off outside a city called Saint-Lô. It was led by a major who was a gentleman and a fierce fighter. He was loved by his soldiers because he had led them bravely and safely to the outskirts of the town. For 36 hours, this battalion was without contact with our lines. But the major talked only of pushing on, of entering Saint-Lô, and then of moving forward again. He rallied his men to the offense time after time. And after many days, the Americans were ready to move into the city of Saint-Lô, and the major was dead. The men of the battalion wrapped his body in an American flag and carried him at the head of their column, so that the first man to enter the city of Saint-Lô was the man who had to keep moving forward. They laid the body of the major on a shrine of rubble next to a ruined church. Here they prayed and said goodbye to him, because they had been infused with his spirit, and they knew they could not remain long where they were. They had to move forward. They had to give the enemy no rest. In America, too, we have to move forward. In America, too, the war begins every day.